In the heart of Lagos, where the city lights dance and the street hum with life, lived a young woman named Adanna. She was the kind of person whose smile could light up a room, whose laughter was infectious, and whose heart was as pure as gold. Everyone loved her. From childhood, she had gathered a group of friends who adored her, and they were known all over as the Jolly Good Friends. Adanna's closest friend was Cynthia, a charming and loyal companion. Cynthia was always by her side, styling her hair, cooking for her, and sharing deep secrets. They had grown together like sisters, bound by years of friendship. To everyone, they were inseparable. Cynthia was Adanna's pillar, her trusted confidant, and her biggest cheerleader. Alongside Cynthia were four other friends who were equally supportive. Bola, a strong-willed and ambitious woman. Ese, the ever-cheerful and lively one. Amaka, the wise and motherly figure, and Kemi, the quiet but deeply caring one. Together they formed a solid bond, celebrating each other's joys and standing together in times of trouble. One day, as Adanna was shopping in a luxurious mall, she bumped into Ifeanyi, a young, wealthy businessman. Their meeting was magical. His deep voice, his confident stride, and the way he looked at her with admiration made Adanna blush. Ifeanyi was mesmerized by her beauty and kindness. Before long, they started dating. Adanna's world glowed even brighter with love. Ifeanyi showered her with attention, gifts, and above all, unwavering commitment. The jolly good friends celebrated her happiness, and Cynthia, Bola, Ese, Amaka, and Kemi all stood by her, supporting every step of their journey. They shared in the excitement of her engagement and helped with every wedding detail. Cynthia played a major role in the wedding preparations. She was Adanna's chief bridesmaid, handling everything with care and dedication. Bola ensured the wedding decor was flawless. Ese organized the bridal shower. Amaka helped with the family negotiations, and Kemi took charge of the catering. They all worked tirelessly to make sure Adanna had the wedding of her dreams. The wedding was grand, a breathtaking ceremony filled with love and joy. Adanna and Ifeanyi danced their first dance, and Cynthia was there, clapping and smiling, her heart full of happiness for her best friend. Bola cheered. Eze hyped up the dance floor. Amaka ensured everything was in place, and Kemi made sure the couple was well fed. It was a day to remember. After the wedding, Adanna and Ifeanyi started their new life together. For a while, everything seemed perfect. But slowly, things began to change. Adanna, once full of life, started to withdraw. She became unusually quiet, spending long hours staring at nothing. At first, Ifeanyi thought she was just adjusting to married life, but soon things worsened. She stopped taking care of herself. Days would pass without her taking a bath. Her beautiful hair became tangled, her clothes unkempt. She would barely eat, barely talk. When Ifeanyi tried to hold her at night, she would pull away, shivering as if his touch burned her. Ifeanyi grew more worried. He called Adanna's friends, hoping they could help. Cynthia, ever the faithful friend, came running. Bola, Ese, Amaka, and Kemi also came, each offering their support in different ways. Cynthia bathed Adanna, fed her, and reassured Ifeanyi that everything would be fine. Bola suggested therapy. Ese tried to cheer her up with outings. Amaka prayed fervently and Kemi cooked nourishing meals, but nothing changed. Adanna started emitting a strange odor that no amount of perfume could cover. Doctors found nothing wrong with her, yet her health continued to decline. Worst of all, she could not conceive. Month after month passed, and the news remained the same: no pregnancy. Whispers began in Ifeanyi's family. His mother and sisters frowned at Adanna whenever she entered the room. She is not a wife, they murmured. She is a curse. As Ifeanyi's family pressured him to take another wife, Cynthia once again stood by Adanna's side. She took her from one spiritualist to another, seeking answers. Every time the answer was vague. Something is wrong, they would say, but it is hidden. Bola reached out to a famous therapist, suggesting medical help, but it yielded no results. Heze tried to take Adanna on vacations to relax her mind, but Adanna refused to go. Amaka sought spiritual guidance, and Kemi, ever the caring one, moved into their house for a while to support her friend. Cynthia was relentless in her support. She held Adanna's hand through every consultation, every prayer session, every tearful moment. She was the only one who hadn't abandoned Adanna. But as the days passed, Ifeanyi couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. One evening, Ifeanyi sat in his study, going through some family documents when he noticed something strange. Hidden inside an old file was a small folded piece of paper. He opened it, his heart pounding as he read the words. She was marked long before she knew love. Beware the friend who never leaves. Chill ran down his spine. Who had written this, and who was it talking about? He knew one thing: he needed to find out, and fast. Meanwhile, Adanna's nightmares had begun. Every night she would wake up screaming, sweat pouring from her body, her hands clutching her stomach. She started seeing shadows in the mirrors, hearing whispers when she was alone. Then one night, as she stood in front of the mirror in their bedroom, she saw it. A faint, ghostly handprint on her shoulder. One that did not belong to her nor her husband. The next morning, Cynthia arrived as she always did, ready to take Adanna for another round of spiritual consultations. But this time, Ifeanyi hesitated. He watched Cynthia closely, his mind racing. Something wasn't right. Could the answer be closer than they had ever imagined? Determined to get to the bottom of Adanna's suffering, Ifeanyi decided to seek the help of an old priest known for uncovering hidden truths. Without telling anyone, he visited the man late at night, sharing everything that had happened. The priest listened carefully, then looked at Ifeanyi with piercing eyes. "Your wife's suffering is not natural," he said, "and the source of her torment is right in front of you." Ifeanyi's heart pounded. He wanted to ask more, but the priest shook his head. "The truth will reveal itself soon, but you must be watchful." That night, Ifeanyi could not sleep. He replayed every moment, every detail. Something told him that he needed to pay closer attention to the people around them. The following day, Adanna's condition worsened, and this time, Ifeanyi was ready to see what he had been blind to all along. Ifeanyi became more observant, paying close attention to Adanna's surroundings. One evening, while searching their bedroom for anything unusual, he found an old bracelet tucked deep inside Adanna's jewelry box. It was one he had never seen before, a black beaded bracelet with strange symbols carved into the beads. Confused, he asked Adanna about it, but she barely had the energy to respond. She simply muttered, "Cynthia gave it to me on our wedding night. She said it was for good luck." Ifeanyi's stomach churned. Something didn't feel right. He decided to take the bracelet to the same priest he had visited before. The priest examined the bracelet and sighed deeply. "This is no ordinary bracelet," he said. "It carries an energy that binds the wearer to a dark force." Ifeanyi felt his heart drop. "What does that mean?" The priest looked at him solemnly. "It means your wife's suffering is being controlled by someone who wants to see her life destroyed. And if you do not act soon, she may not survive. Ifeanyi clenched his fist. Who would do such a thing and why? Determined to protect his wife, Ifeanyi decided to confront Cynthia. But he knew he had to be careful. If she was truly involved, she would not reveal her intentions so easily. Instead of questioning her directly, he started observing her more closely. He noticed how she never let Adanna go anywhere alone, how she always volunteered to take her to spiritualists but never suggested medical treatment, and how she seemed unusually calm while Adanna deteriorated. One evening, he deliberately mentioned taking Adanna to a different priest, one that Cynthia was unaware of. Cynthia's reaction was subtle, but Ifeanyi caught the flicker of discomfort in her eyes. He was onto something. Late one night, Ifeanyi decided to remove the bracelet from Adanna's wrist while she slept. The moment he slipped it off, Adanna let out a blood-curdling scream, thrashing violently in bed. Her body convulsed as if something was being ripped from her soul. Terrified, Ifeanyi held her tightly until she calmed down. As soon as the bracelet was off, her breathing steadied and she fell into the most peaceful sleep she had had in months. He knew now this was no coincidence. That bracelet was the key to her suffering. The next morning, Cynthia arrived as usual, but when she saw that Adanna was looking better, she seemed displeased. Feigning ignorance, Ifeanyi casually mentioned that he had found the bracelet and decided to get rid of it. Cynthia froze. You did what? Ifeanyi noticed the panic in her eyes. Yes, I threw it away. It seemed strange. For the first time, Cynthia's mask slipped. A flash of anger crossed her face before she forced a smile. Oh, well, if you think it's for the best. Ifeanyi's suspicions were confirmed. Cynthia was hiding something. Determined to uncover the truth, Ifeanyi sought out one of the most powerful seers in the city. The seer performed a deep spiritual reading, and what she revealed sent chills down Ifeanyi's spine. There is a woman in your wife's life who has bound her fate to destruction. She is the one closest to her, the one she trusts the most. Ifeanyi clenched his jaw. Cynthia. The seer nodded. She has hidden her true face. But now that you have removed the bracelet, her hold on Adanna is weakening. However, she will not give up easily. That night, Ifeanyi set a trap. He pretended to leave town for business and asked Cynthia to watch over Adanna in his absence. What Cynthia did not know was that Ifeanyi had installed hidden cameras in their home. As soon as she thought she was alone with Adanna, Cynthia pulled out a small vial and whispered dark incantations over her. She then touched Adanna's forehead and murmured, "You will never be free." Ifeanyi watched in horror from his phone screen. His heart pounded. This was it. He had all the proof he needed. The next morning, Ifeanyi confronted Cynthia in front of Adanna and their friends. He played the video for all to see. Cynthia's face turned pale. This isn't what it looks like," she stammered. The other friends looked at her in shock. "Cynthia, what have you done?" Bola whispered. Tears streamed down Adanna's face as realization hit her. "You were supposed to be my sister, my best friend." Cynthia fell to her knees, but before she could speak, Ifeanyi's voice cut through the room like ice. "Get out of our lives, now!" Cynthia left, but her presence lingered like a shadow. Even with her gone, Adanna's recovery was slow. Nightmares still haunted her, and she could feel Cynthia's influence like a poison in her veins. The seer warned Ifeanyi, as long as she walks free, she will try to finish what she started. One night, Adanna woke up to find Cynthia standing over her bed. Her eyes wild with rage. "You think you can get rid of me?" she hissed. But Ifeanyi had been prepared. He had called the seer and a group of spiritual warriors who burst into the room just in time. Cynthia screamed as they chanted powerful prayers, breaking her hold on Adanna once and for all. She collapsed to the ground, defeated. With Cynthia finally exposed and her powers destroyed, Adanna began to heal. Her beauty and strength returned, and for the first time in months, she laughed freely. Ifeanyi held her close. "You are safe now," he whispered. Tears of relief filled her eyes. "I never thought I'd see today." Cynthia was never seen again. Some say she fled the country, others believe she faced consequences beyond human understanding. But Adanna and Ifeanyi didn't care. They were finally free. Months later, Adanna's health fully recovered. And the best news of all came. She was pregnant. The darkness had passed, and in its place, a new life began. Cynthia's absence from Adanna's life should have brought peace. But a strange restlessness settled over her. One evening, as rain poured outside, a knock came at Adanna and Ifeanyi's door. It was Cynthia. Her once proud figure looked frail, her eyes sunken with regret. She fell to her knees, tears mixing with the rain on her face. "Adanna, I have to tell you the truth." Cynthia's voice trembled as she spoke. "I have never liked you, Adanna. From the very beginning, I envied you. Your beauty, your kindness, your ability to make people love you effortlessly. It made me feel invisible." Adanna's heart ached as Cynthia continued. "When Ifeanyi came into your life, I couldn't take it anymore. I sought out dark powers. The bracelet I gave you, it wasn't for luck. It was meant to drain your spirit, to make you undesirable to him. The charm I used when I touched you on your wedding night, that was meant to destroy your marriage." Ifeanyi clenched his fist, his face unreadable. "I made sure you could never conceive," Cynthia admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I brought you to false spiritualists, leading you in circles while your life crumbled. Every tear you shed gave me satisfaction, but also guilt. I convinced myself you deserved it, but deep inside, I knew I was wrong." Adanna's other friends stood frozen, their faces pale with shock. They had always trusted Cynthia. Cynthia broke into sobs. "But even after all my efforts, Ifeanyi never left you. You fought for your marriage, and that's when I realized nothing I did could take away the love you both shared." Silence filled the room. Adanna's breath came in shaky gasp. "Why are you telling me this now?" Cynthia looked up, her eyes red. "Because I can't live with this anymore. The guilt is eating me alive. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I had to tell the truth." The room was heavy with tension. Bola, Ese, Amaka, and Kemi exchanged glances, their own emotions tangled in betrayal and disbelief. Adanna closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. "Cynthia, I forgive you." Gasp echoed around the room. Cynthia looked up, stunned. You forgive me?" "Yes," Adanna whispered. "Not for you, but for me. I refuse to carry hatred in my heart." Cynthia's lip trembled as she reached out, but Adanna stepped back. "But forgiveness doesn't mean things can go back to the way they were. Our friendship is over." Cynthia nodded slowly. "I understand." She turned to the others, searching their faces for any sign of redemption. But Bola, Ese, Amaka, and Kemi remained silent. They had learned a painful lesson. Jealousy could wear the face of friendship. Cynthia left that night carrying the heavy burden of her actions. She would live with the consequences of her choices, haunted by the love she had tried to destroy. Meanwhile, Adanna and Ifeanyi focused on rebuilding their lives. The darkness that had hovered over them was gone, and soon a new joy filled their hearts. Adanna was expecting a child. The experience left scars, but it also left lessons. Bola, Ese, Amaka, and Kemi vowed to never take true friendship for granted again. They had seen firsthand how envy could twist a heart, and they promised to always guard their own hearts against such poison. For Adanna, the greatest lesson was this: love, when true, is unbreakable. Evil may try to shake it, but it cannot destroy what is built on a strong foundation. As she looked at Ifeanyi, her hand resting on her growing belly, she whispered, "This child will know love, not betrayal." And with that, their new chapter began. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. Do well to like this video, share to your loved ones, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, why not? Hit the subscribe button and expect more intriguing and exciting stories. Thank you. Bye.